In this problem, you're asked to find the vertex by completing the square, and to do that you'll want to put this parabola in standard form. So to do that, I'm going to change f of x to y, and then in my next step I'm going to move the constant over to the other side of the equation by adding 4 to both sides. Now the reason I want to do this is I want to complete the square on the right hand side, and I just want to move that constant out of the way. Before you complete the square though, you do need to make sure that there is a 1 as the lead term, or lead coefficient rather. So my lead coefficient now is 3, so what I'm going to do is factor the 3 out. When you factor the 3 out, it's going to come out of both terms, and I'm left with x squared minus 2x. And then I can go ahead and complete the square on the inside part of the parenthesis here. So to complete the square, I go through that algorithm of taking half of the middle number and then squaring that number. So my result is plus 1, or add 1. Now you didn't really add 1 to the right hand side of the equation though. What you really added was 3 times 1. So if I add 3 to the right hand side of the equation, you also have to add 3 to the left hand side. And so I'm left with y plus 7 on the left equals 3 times. Now you've created something that will factor nice. And in this case it's going to be the same factor, x minus 1, x minus 1. If you FOIL that out, it comes back out to x squared minus 2x plus 1. And what you can then do is condense it down and make it into x minus 1, the quantity squared. And you can see how we're getting closer to the standard form for the parabola. The only thing I need to do next is subtract 7 from both sides and move that k value back over. From here, you can state what the vertex is. Our vertex, remember, is at hk, and our h value happens to be positive 1 and the k value negative 7. So we have a vertex at 1, negative 7. We can also talk about the axis of symmetry, and that's just a vertical line, so it's going to be x equals, that cuts right down the middle of the vertex. So in our problem it's x equals 1. That's the x coordinate for the vertex. The other thing that you can be finding for this is the y-intercept. Now you've got two options. You can go back to the equation that you just found and let x equal 0, solve for y, or you can go back to the original problem. And I think if you go back up here to the original and plug in the zeros for x, it's pretty easy to see what your y-intercept is going to be, because the first two terms you're ultimately multiplying them by 0. And so we end up with just getting negative 4 out, or the coordinate 0, negative 4, which is your y-intercept.